Hello, everyone. We are here to discuss something we've discussed from the beginning of the year, and that is hypothesis writing. The next lab that we're going to be doing is going to require us to write a hypothesis, which I'm here to remind you of how to do and what it is. So a hypothesis is your testable statement that describes the outcome to an issue or question that is asked, okay? There are two different variables that go into hypotheses. There is the independent variable and the dependent variable. So your independent variable, this is what you expect to change when you run an experiment. It is what your if statement in your hypothesis is going to be based off of. There's also the dependent variable, and this is what you were going to measure or observe to see if there was an effect during the experiment. So we're looking at independent versus dependent variables in this upcoming lab. Remember that the proper format for writing a hypothesis is the if, then, because format. Your if statement should be describing what you are going to change and how. This is specifically discussing the independent variable. What are you intentionally going to change? How are you going to change it? Your then statement is about what you believe is going to happen. Okay, this is the dependent variable. What are you going to observe or measure to show that something may have changed? Okay, so all of those if and then statements there need to be followed up with a because statement. So this is the why. Why, if you change this, then will something else change? Give me your reasoning for the outcome that you believed would happen. This outcome could be based off of background knowledge, things you've observed in the past, or research that you might have to do to try to help explain why the outcome will be the way it is. So any hypothesis that you're going to write should be in this if, then, because format, which again, we've practiced with most of the year. But here's an example anyway. If the question was, what effect does adding humor into commercials have on potential buyers? I would write my hypothesis like so. If I add humor into commercials, then consumers would be more likely to buy the product because the commercial will make them feel happier and they'll remember the product better. So in my if statement, I'm explaining what I'm going to change. I'm going to add humor to a commercial. My then statement describes what I believe will happen. Consumers would be more likely to buy the product. And my because statement is based on background knowledge. I love humor. It makes me laugh, makes me feel happy. And when I'm happy and I laugh, I tend to remember things better. So there's my because statement. Now, there's a rubric for assessing the strength of your hypothesis, and this is something I'm going to have you self-assess hypotheses with. You can see the proficient column over here is a little darker, bless you, and so this is where you should strive to be. Writing a good hypothesis means you understand what your independent and dependent variables were and correctly identify them from either the purpose of an experiment or from a question that is asked. You're following the if, then, because model properly, specifying in the if your independent variable and how it will change, specifying the then and what you believe the outcome will be, the dependent variable. And then your because needs to explain why it will be changing or what will be happening, and in a non-secular way. This means in your because statement, you should not be re-mentioning anything you said in if and then. We're going to do a little bit of work with this in the follow-up Google form, where I'm going to have you practice writing the hypothesis for the next lab that we're going to run. So remember, know your independent, dependent variables. Independent is what will intentionally be changed. Dependent is what the outcome will be. and follow through by writing a hypothesis in an if, then, because model. Enjoy. Have a great day.